Hello, everyone. Hello, our dear listeners. Today, we are interrupting our usual talking about something up to now and schedule and bring you a different episode. Instead of what we usually do, I am together with my two friends, only Enes and İzel, while other two have their difficulties in getting to the episode. But because we love you so much and we did not want to deprive you of our beautiful discourse, we wanted to record you this episode where we ramble about stuff we are, I don't want to necessarily say interested about, we are bitter about. And our top of our list, top of the things that we are bitter about is colors. Enes, please tell our dear audience why you are annoyed about colors and why you want to discuss about it to no end.
Did I tell that I'm a designer? Yeah, I have mentioned it earlier.
Only whenever somebody brings it up.
Yes. And that somebody generally is me. So I always talk about it. This is my identity. Anyway.
Yeah, like I never tell anyone that I'm a designer. You can never find me saying I'm a designer.
Yeah, and I'm not a designer, so I never tell anyone either.
I was just preparing some social media posts for our dear podcast Inconclusion. And we were thinking about some ideas, and should I say some of that? Actually,
of course, like it's our, the people who are listening to these before seeing our social media presence are the best people in the universe.
Yes, definitely.
They are the top people ever. And also people who saw our social media posts and then came here. You guys are awesome as well.
Haha. I was preparing some social media posts. We had an idea of preparing some of our quotes into social media posts. Like Can Deniz said, whatever you are feeling, K-pop is always there for you.
And I'm behind it.
Yeah. And I made a social media post, like in episode 7, Can Deniz said this kind of social media post. And I had an idea of what was the name, or what is the verb for it?
Writing, painting, deploying, assembling.
No. Making somebody, like tag. I wanted to tag each one of us to a certain color. But
you can maybe do like associate.
You assigned colors to each of us.
Assign, yes. That's, yes.
I will take it from the start.
Can I make that into a ringtone?
Yes, you can make it a text message. In fact,
yes.
We can maybe cut it down. I mean, not exclude from the episodes, keep it in the episode, but also slice it from the recording and make it a small MP3 file that people can download and make their text message alerts.
We can make a website that plays random sounds we made during the podcast.
Oh yeah, that sounds like it's within our skill set, because I lied earlier. I am actually a web designer. So I am a sort of designer after all. And we are able to both design websites, put stuff in them, and also record noise. So it's like all within our skill set.
But actually, we are not recording a voice. We are recording a noise. So that's a problem.
Recording a noise is exactly what we are always doing. Like, you guys are hearing the podcast, but even without a podcast, we just open up a microphone and then start making noises. It's what kids do these days. Like, you knock to a door, some sound comes, you listen to an hour, some noise comes, like ticks and talks, and like what kids do.
So
TikTok. The joke is that I'm talking about TikTok in a weird way.
We were saying that Enes was assigning colors to each of us.
Yeah.
Oh yes, but it's not a race thing. Like that's not what Enes is doing.
I created colorful scheme. No.
Yeah, scheme.
A chart scheme. I made a colorful scheme, but the way I use color is not regular, I guess, because I was using the colors at the back of the text. So I didn't want the color to be shiny and colorful and, saturated. So I used some pastel matte tones And it's a problem, I
Muted.
guess. And I couldn't solve it.
Used muted darker colors.
Yes.
But yellow is never a dark color, so
That's a problem. And we are people of 5. And to find...
Let me interrupt you and quickly say, there's a very famous Turkish, how to call Serdar Ortaç? Let's say song singer. So there's a very famous Turkish song singer. And on one of his interviews, Serdar Ortaç, on one of his interviews, he said, there are 7 notes in music. How creative do you expect me to get? And that's what Enes is saying when he says there are 5 people. Like there are 3 colors. How can I do 5 people? That's crazy. And I agree, by the way.
I have to add that he is very creative when it comes to lyrics, though.
Yeah.
Serdar Ortaç, you mean?
Love.
Oh,
Love is infrared.
Museum of Wounded People.
And I can't move around.
Yeah, also like, I want to throw you away, but I feel pity for the trash bag is also something he says.
My black pepper.
Yeah, my black pepper hit the goblets and let's drink, yes. And it even rhymes when you do it in Turkish. It's crazy.
Yeah, these all do.
It's more about being spicy, I guess.
Oh yeah, black pepper is indeed spicy. Like it's one of the spices. Like if you eat a spoonful of black pepper, you will eat only spice, yes.
You start to be too loud.
Okay, let me get back to
Sorry.
my gentle radio recording sound, because İzel is in the other room and she is bothered about my sound overlapping hers.
It wasn't picking up earlier. Now it started. I think it's picking up the dogs outside.
It is because I am a very passionate speaker. And I am very passionate about the things we are talking about, which was like, what,
Colors.
color? Something like that. Something in that tone. Anyway, please continue. You were talking about how certain colors of texts look badly on some background colors, and that makes it difficult to read, which becomes an accessibility problem.
Yes, but the other problem is I'm getting the colors from each corner of like a heptagon and on the color wheel. So I get the most distant colors from the color wheel as much as possible. That's my idea of using it, creating a little rainbow flag, but in matte tones.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you something. You say a pentagon. Are you not including white or red or black? Which of these are you not including in your wheel?
So, color lesson, color theory 101. I'm just the color wheel I was using is only included the hues. So I only look from that perspective in this context. Color varies in many ways. Like you can change the hue, you can change the saturation, you can change the what's the other thing? Is that
value or brightness?
Value or bright. Color varies so much in many ways.
Hue, saturation, value, or brightness. Yes.
Yeah, but the way I change the colors, like I want to make a color palette. I wanted to use the same saturation levels, same brightness levels, same value. So the way I was using the color was like making them a little bit darker in a way. I use them the
Muted.
dark shades, muted colors. Yeah, I mean a little bit darker tones. But I only changed the hue value. Like it turned out to be a muted red, muted blue, muted green, muted yellow. But what is the other color?
Something like orange.
Orange?
Some orange-like.
Orange can be used, but it's so close to yellow and red. If I use magenta, for example, or violet, it should like red will be in between blue and violet or magenta. So that's a problem. You can't get the most distant colors with the heptagon.
Okay, let me quickly say this. First of all, Even though I am already familiar with all the concepts that Enes is talking about, him explaining it back to me is not mansplaining because I'm not a woman. It's totally okay for a man to assume the other man doesn't know what he's talking about, so it's fine. It's no big deal, internet people. And more importantly, what my question was, Enes, a heptagon has 7 corners. There are 5 of us, and there is red color, black color, and white color. So either red is one of the colors, and there are only 6 of them, or either white or black, not both are included, and you are right about saying a heptagon. So back to my question, Enes.
But
what is happening? How did you get to the number 7? Using 5 people, 1 red, 1 black, and 1 white.
So I will resolve all of the issues at once. I meant penta.
Penta is 5. Oh yeah, that's okay. So,
and I don't know the Latin numbers that well. That might be the issue. If only I knew geometry, it will maybe help.
Yeah, but I'm gonna stop you right there. It is because we learn the great geometry. Like everything is native. Every phrase is in native. So it's great. So that's why we don't know it.
Yeah. To give an example, when a British person or an American person say hexagon, and they mean a shape with 6 sides and 6 corners, in our language, the word we use translates into 6-sided. Or like...
six-gon.
6-sided, not even gone. Both... Yeah, but gan means side. But yeah, and the outcome is that a Turkish person can always say how many sides are on a shape simply by getting the number and adding a little suffix to it. And that's why hexagon and octagon and heptagon and those are a bit...
Dodecahedron.
Dodecahedron is crazy. But its Turkish is just 20 faced. Or like 12 face. I can't remember, and that's my point. But anyway, yeah, so you wanted to start with a color wheel and pick 5 points that are most distant from each other.
Yes.
Correct? Like you wanted to put a satanic star on the color wheel and rotate it to a point that you liked. Correct?
And also, I wanted them to be the main colors in a certain area, and I wanted people to identify that color just by saying only one word, or I wanted the color to be a simple one. I wanted the color to be the main color. That's what I meant.
Primary, by the way, is the
primary color. Yeah.
Then the Serdar Ortaç quote comes back in.
That there are 7 notes in music and you can't be very creative.
There are only 3 primary colors. How can I be creative? How creative I can get.
And by the way, there is something else. I think the main problem that you bumped into, let's call it this, you can't have 5 equidistant colors and have it be a brand identity. Like in order something to be brand identity, it needs to be in such a way that the usage of it is difficult to encounter in the wild on its own. So I think like if you are trying to do a like I don't want to say advertisement, what would I call it? Like a visual to do
branding?
Public affairs visual. If you want to do a public affairs visual, then having equidistant colors is not really cohesive. It is difficult to make it cohesive that way, I think.
Yeah, and I want to add that not even rainbow colors go together that well.
No, and back to the track, it is also difficult to keep it a single color that works with the thing. Like if you want to write a color on a different color, like if you want to write a white text on green background, it is not always ideal depending on the brightness of the green you are using. So it is difficult to, and the amount of brightness is different for different colors. So you are able to read a lighter text on a less bright blue But in green, darker colors are usually better, even though they are on the RGB scale same amount of values, or they are same distance away from the center of a hue saturation wheel. These are different numbers for different color tones, so it is not very easy to do that and keep a single text color when you are doing that.
On top of that, like when you get the color red or blue in a muted way, you get nice, pleasant color. But if you go, like if you mute green or yellow, you don't get nice colors.
You get vomit.
Yes.
Actually, I want to tell something that I consider to be very interesting in this topic. You know how regular RGB color is 8 bits each? Like there are 8 bits for red brightness and 8 bits for blue and 8 bits for green.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That gives you 256 different values for red brightness and blue and green. But there's also a different format that gives you 16 total bits to transmit the color. And what they do is they give green more. Like because this is a very free-form experience, I have actually not researched the exact numbers, but there are more bits in green than there are bits in red and blue, because they found human eyes are more perceptive to differences in green color. Like you can more easily differentiate different brightnesses of green color than you can do to red or blue.
It's called luminancy, I guess. They use green to sharpen an image. That's why they also use green screens at the background.
That's why green and yellow, because yellow is mostly green with some little blue sprinkled on it. That's why on yellow and green, it is difficult to find a muted color because of the human eyes perception regarding green.
Definitely. We have, like, in nature, like you can see many shades of green as well. That's also one of the things that we encounter, I guess. That's why our eyes are more perceptive to color green.
Mm-hmm. And you almost never see a blue in wildlife. Like blue, even when you do see blue, it's usually like not a big deal. Like you don't survive by differentiating between various blue flowers.
Yes, actually, like I'm not sure if I'm correct. If you know about it, please correct me. I mean, our listeners. Like there is no blue pigment in nature. Like it's so rare, I guess. That's at least I know. That's what I know at least.
Blue pigments in nature. One of the very famous. Please finish. Then I'm gonna say.
I mean, it's rare in nature. So like even the sky is not blue. That it's just reflected that way. But if you like, there is no color blue as well, like in the flowers or in the plants. There are some rare ones, like it's not the color pigment that reflects blue color, but the shape of it. It's a physical reflection, I guess. That's the thing I know about the color blue in nature.
Okay, you are in for a treat. I'm gonna explain what everybody loves to hear, which is Afghanistan story. First of all, you are absolutely right. Compared to red and yellow and obviously green, blue is a more difficult color to encounter in nature in such a way that you can paint other things with it. Like there are flowers which are blue. Famously, one of them is called ortanca in Turkish. I don't know what the English word for it is, but I mean, definitely not lavenders, but there are flowers that are blue, but you can't actually make paint out of them. So what people did is there is this stone mineral. It's called lapis lazuli, and people used that to create blue dye, which they then used to paint their colors or in the paintings and such. And up to very recently, the primary like, I mean, it's still the case. The primary source for this mineral was in Afghanistan back at the day. That's why Greeks, after Alexander the Great has moved all the way to the east, Greeks colonized that region. They formed the Bactrian kingdom. I'm actually maybe not Bactria is maybe not how they pronounce it, but there's a B there and there's a Tria in there. I'm pretty sure it's Bactria. In order to monopolize that particular resource. So Romans took blue from Afghanistan mines, and this color was transmitted using ships because Persia is very difficult to navigate by land. And that's why Romans, when they found this pigment, it came from ships. And in order to explain that, they said the color that comes from overseas, and sea means mare, and over means ultra, so ultramarine is the name they called this color. Because it is transferred using ships from Afghanistan of the day. So yeah, it's a very rare thing. Like, I cannot tell you a story even half as interesting about color red or color yellow, because they are very common in nature.
What I meant was like, I meant even the colors, the blue color you see on nature doesn't have blue pigment. Some of them, or most of them, doesn't have blue pigment in it. That's kind of correct your story, because if they try to get the blue pigment, they can't get it. They can't retrieve a blue pigment because the blue color.
Oh yeah, because it's not a chemical thing.
Yeah, it's not a chemical thing. It's a physical thing that it just reflects that way. It's a physical thing. Also, it's the thing in butterflies as well. That some of the, like, you see blue shade on a butterfly, but it's a physical reflection. So just like in the blue sky or in the blue sea, I mean, it's basically navy blue. Change depends on the location, but anyway, it's just a physical thing that we encounter in the nature, not a chemical thing.
By the way, while we are talking about history and blue, there is a mosque in Istanbul called the Blue Mosque. Very famous because of its interior porcelain paintings, that is, tiles are painted with a very bright and powerful blue, and that blue also is, by the way, ultramarine.
Turquoise?
No, not turquoise. No, Blue Mosque. The blue people use on ceramics, the bright, strong blue, not cyanic blue. That's ultramarine.
Yeah. It's more like navy blue, I guess.
It's like darker in terms of shade.
Yeah, it has a darker shade.
But it's also very powerful. If anybody visits Turkey, this color is also very commonly used in evil eyes that they can purchase from anywhere in any touristic destination. I mean, obviously the glass isn't that color because of, like, they probably paint it these days, but the original thing was actually glass that is colored that blue. Like, today maybe they do paint it, I don't know. I am not been to an evil eye factory. Also called, what was it, like the Infinite Loop, I think. They are still using Infinite Loop, right?
I don't know.
The evil eye factory where they produce all their evil eye devices, like iWatch, Apple computer.
Okay, I was gonna say only Infinite Loop I know was the old Apple headquarters, but new one is not called Infinite Loop.
Then I guess it was not infinite after all.
Yeah.
I am so happy about this part.
And this one is shaped like a circle. I don't know why they don't call it Infinite Loop.
Like, this one is the loop though, right? Like, if I looked at two places side by side and somebody told me one of these places are called an infinite loop, I would always pick the current one, right?
I'm gonna fact check to myself.
And by the way, while İzel is fact checking, let me quickly say this. Enes, you can very easily talk about our brand awareness visuals, because by the time this episode is aired, which will be like 1 month from now, hopefully you will have finished doing them.
Definitely.
So everybody will be, it will be possible for everybody to find. In fact, we should put some in show notes so that people can say, oh, those are colors. I mean, people obviously know what colors are, but like the colors that we are talking about right now, the ones you picked equidistant from each other.
I will share the RGB colors or the hex codes of each one of us colors.
No, just an image. Like we are gonna put the image in a PNG format.
That might work, but mine was interesting.
I mean, if yours is interesting, that's all I need to hear.
I will just write our names next to the hex codes, and people just go and find out which color it is by themselves.
Isn't that kind of like doxing? Like aren't you putting information about us on the internet?
I mean, if it's private information for you, I will not share it publicly.
No, it isn't, because the color you assigned to me is not color that I commonly use with my own personal identity. Like when I try to build presence, that's not the color I usually do. But I did like the color, by the way. Like I said yesterday, I thought the color was nice, and I am perfectly okay with my podcast personality to have that color. But if you look at anything I have made about representing myself over the past few years, you will never see that color because it's not something that I commonly used to. Actually, there's a color that is similar to the one you picked. I do sometimes use Prussian blue or a darker shade of Prussian blue in some of my operations because I like a blue color with a splash of green in it. But like in a petrol blue, not yellow way.
We can change. Also, the color I wanted to use red as my color or my identifier color, I guess. My assigned color will be red, but our brand has a red color inside. So I can't use red as my color. Or if I'm not the main person on the Inconclusion, I can't use that.
I mean, our audience probably doesn't know this, or maybe they do, but like before this, we actually had a different podcast in Turkish, and on that podcast, the only person who ever written a comment on one of our YouTube videos, which was like the video of the show, was a person who said Enes is great. And if I recall correctly, he was also called Enes, but not the Enes that we know. Like not you Enes, but a different Enes. Said Enes is great.
Yeah, they didn't say Enes is great. It just said they liked the show. It said they liked the show, and we thought it was our Enes, so we didn't care much. But a few weeks later, we found out that it wasn't our Enes.
Oh yeah, then Enes is not our main guy. I'm sorry, Enes. You can't be red. I am gonna come to your house later and pick up all your stuff that is red. Like you can't. Not anymore. Not anymore, buddy.
But the way I'm attached to red is like when I was child, I was playing Age of Empires most of the time, 2 or 3.
Like most children, yes.
Most like most children, like when I was 8, I guess I was playing Age of Empires. How did they
Yeah, very common.
play it? Whoa. Anyway, and I was like always the game attached the color of blue to the player 1, the main player. But I always changing that color to the red. That's how I'm attached to the red color.
You know, that's interesting because whenever I play Age of Empires, I don't associate myself with the color, but the counter I'm playing. So like, by the way, I really like Age of Empires 3 because I like musket fire and cannons and big ships and, you know, all that stuff like railroads and such. And I associate countries with colors. Like France is obviously blue. Portugal is obviously green, even though Portugal actually means orange in Turkish. Netherlands is orange, and so on.
Yeah.
Like the country that I'm playing would be the primary source for me to pick the color.
Spanish will be violet.
Spanish would be yellow.
Yellow. Okay. What about British?
Red. Which is the problem
about
because
Turks?
Ottoman is also red.
I feel like we are way off topic right now.
No, but we don't have a topic. We are doing this instead of a topic.
Yeah, but I've been bored like the past 10 minutes.
So, İzel, what do you want us? Yeah. Do you want to talk about like intercoms? This is what you want?
That came out of a blue. It's almost like we had a little list that we have written the stuff we want to talk about beforehand.
I was thinking, why would anyone listen to us rambling? Because I don't want to be a show that rambles. Because people do that, and I don't like that kind of podcast.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you recommend?
I don't know.
How did it turn out?
I guess I don't know. You can continue, I guess.
I can't continue after this. You have murdered my buzz dead.
My buzz was murdered too.
I think at least we tried.
No, we can wrap it up and like make this a shorter thing. Or like not put it anywhere. I guess I don't know. I feel so upset right now.
I think at least we tried and talked something. That's what I was thinking. Oh.
What we can do is, like I said, we can record a little wrap up, and then we can like do a bit of an editing and listen to it again and decide if that's something worth putting on the internet or not.
Actually, I wasn't also like happy with the start, but that's what I'm not sure about putting it on the internet. But at least we can try, rather than being sad about it and not feeling okay that we haven't even tried and feeling that pressure on top of us. And we can say at least we tried and it's not a successful attempt.
I don't necessarily think that it's an unsuccessful attempt.
The way we try makes it successful attempt.
Yeah, like I said, if we listen this from back to back, there is a very good chance that we don't hate the product.
Maybe I was.
Actually,
like I said, usually when we are done recording a podcast, what I immediately feel is this is terrible content. We just talked so long about nonsense, and this nobody will ever. I mean, nobody does listen to it. So maybe I'm right about that. But when I sit down on it for editing, usually what I encounter is better than what I prepared myself for after the recording.
You're the first to edit, so.
And obviously, when you sit down on it, you're already seeing what I have produced, which is amazing. So you are always happy to find the episodes.
Maybe I'm bitter because I wasn't able to get back into it.
I mean, you can try saying stuff right now.
I don't know what to say.
You can talk about your blue color shades idea.
Actually, we talked a lot about colors.
I don't know what.
Nobody even answered my blue colors idea though. And it's just sent a gay pride flag.
I said, that's okay, that's ridiculous. I not only said it with sound, I have also written below it that I think it's a good idea.
Actually, I wanted to use the color shade, like one tone only, and it will kinda improve our color scheme again.
I think white, red, and blue is a very good palette, by the way. Like different shades of blue were different enough to differentiate, while also white text would look good on all of them.
And we will have like it will.
I'm sorry, I'm a buzz killer.
No, you are not. We are still recording. This is all going to the internet.
Haha.
Okay.
This is beautiful. This is perfect. Like, I love how our tones suddenly shifted, and like this is great. This is great content. Our audience will love it.
And I even did color scheme. changed our color.
So yeah, you can talk about the blue things if you want. But like even if you don't, I still am happy with the blue colors for branding.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the blue colors then. As a designer, when I need to pick colors, I use color palettes that was already created by some other people that has found that they look good together. So I found it
Because of the 7 notes thing, like you can't be creative.
yes, like, and I found an image that had our brand colors with several blue shades, and I thought blue looks good. Everyone can pick a tone of blue, and it would work, I guess. But then, and Enes sent gay pride flag as a response.
And we are very proud of gay people. Don't get us wrong. It was just not relevant to the discussion.
By the way, gay man's pride flag is what is that?
I mean, it's not this, right? Like what
I mean,
I'm looking at is it's like a shade of green becomes a shade of blue with white in the middle.
I even forgot the Turkish word for it.
Bayrak.
Underrated. I mean, gay man's
Vasat?
pride. No, underrated. It's not very known well. No one knows. They just assume the rainbow flag is a gay man's pride color. And I think it's
Okay,
Guys, wait, I am in fact gonna cut this part.
I accidentally searched man loving man on Google.
Okay, I take it back. I am gonna put this on the internet. Please continue.
First result: straight men fall in love with each other. Gay romance.
But then they are not straight, man. That's nuts.
Bisexual man can't decide between his boyfriend and his girlfriend. I guess it cuts off.
But anyway, yeah, like I said, and by the way, Enes, that was another problem about the way you introduced the people assigned colors. How you went was like, I picked these colors for you, but if you don't like it, I can change them. You either say, I picked these colors for you and you are gonna love them and be happy, or you can say, I have picked these 5 colors, pick your favorites. You don't say, I picked these for you, but you can change them if you want, because then everybody is a horrible person. All of a sudden. Like suddenly, you see the worst in everybody. Because it is very easy to not like something that is offered to them. You either don't offer them anything, or if you are gonna offer them, you make it impossible for them to dislike it. And my choice would be, I have found these 5 colors, pick your favorites through some way of voting.
yeah,
Would be the way I would go.
definitely, because you need to be fascist in some ways.
I mean, I literally said I would prefer doing it with the voting, but but yeah, you can be a fascist with voting.
I mean, there are certain number of colors. Like, how can I change? Like, how can I increase the number of colors? So
Yeah, you can't be creative because there are like 7 notes. How you can't?
yeah,
You can't.
I'm
It's not
like
possible.
giving out. I'm showing as much as possible. So
Well,
I can't
like-
give more than that.
Like, and by the way, another problem with hearing what people have to say about your ideas is they tend to say things in the following line. They tend to say, first, there are too many colors, which makes it uncohesive on the same image. Like there is the text color and the other text color and white and red and the person colors, too much colors. This is the first thing they say. And then they say, I would prefer my color to be a tone of black, which is the text color. Like, do you see the problem here?
That's a problem. And also, I don't like the way I don't like this thing that people don't like their colors. But if they don't offer any other color, I can't change it. How can I change it? That's the way I selected the color.
Enes, you screwed up, buddy. You did dirty, because when I was talking about one of our podcast friends that isn't here, The one I picked was the one that never listens to our shows. Whereas the one that you chose to pick on is the one who does the show notes listen. So
Oops.
the one you chose is going to hear your criticism, while the one I chose won't.
Actually, it was the same person. But
Oh,
anyway,
really? I thought the show note-taking person whose name I'm going to omit was the one who said, I don't like green, anything but green.
but both of that person said that they don't like their.
I said that I like pink.
Yay!
And I said I liked what you gave me.
Both of the people who is here. What?
I said I liked what you gave me, so I wasn't a problem. I was a
Yeah.
solver.
Take what mama gave you.
Also, İzel just like İzel is the best person here because she liked her color. On top of that, she offered me another color, an alternative color.
No, that's
the
not
best.
the best person. That's a silly behavior.
No. That's because I'm the person who picks colors for our games. So people usually criticize the colors I chose. So I'm usually on the other side of that discourse.
That's also ludicrous. I never criticize the colors İzel picked if they are not bad colors. And besides, you know, Enes, because this actually is very funny. İzel is the one in our games who picks colors, and I am the one who hugs İzel into not being sad when those colors get a bad reception.
But are you the person who give the bad criticism to İzel as well?
No. I mean, usually not. And like, we did games with a large number of people, not just the people we are working with currently. So it's like no. I mean, when I do criticism, I usually give it in a productive way that offers solutions, so İzel doesn't get upset. The type of criticism that
Thank
upsets
you.
İzel is somebody says, I don't like this for reasons that I can't tell, but I don't like them anyway, so fix it. Which is, yeah, you want to punch this person. Like, that's, yeah,
What am I supposed to do with that?
exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was telling.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, I go and I hug İzel and like pat her hair and such. So when this happened to you, Enes, when you offered your colors,
Yeah, and you couldn't hug Enes because Enes was in another city.
yeah. And that's why when this happened, İzel tried to be a color picking solution giver, while I tried to be emotional support solution giver. Because that's usually how pitching colors is treated in our community. With useless criticism. That doesn't help.
I mean, it's one of the main problems with the creative industries. Having like, there are two aspects of it: giving positive criticism or receiving a criticism. It's one of the two, and that is problematic. And people mostly don't know how to do that properly. But I think I'm a good critic. What do you think about it? And İzel is the very person that who receive my criticism most of the time. What do you think about my criticism?
Yeah, Enes, you're a great critic. So I came to you whenever I need something criticized.
She does. That's true. Like, me too. I usually think if we are in doubt about something visual, I am like, we should show it to Enes. And he will like say something that is useful in a way. Like, not necessarily do the thing Enes says, but Enes will approach this in a way that we can turn into benefits. By the way, Enes, when you are giving a single point of criticism, it's usually very great. You execute that very well. The problem with your whole critique experience is you don't stop there. Like, you say everything that you can think, and then for the next few days you keep adding things to the initial criticism. Like, I'm not saying this in a bad way. Like, I'm not saying you come and say this is terrible, this is also terrible. Instead, what happens is you say, I see a problem in this, and then for the next few days you keep recommending solutions to that problem that you solve. I mean, that's not necessarily